Hey everyone, welcome back to Attack on TCG. Bancroft here, bringing you a new Dragon Ball Super deck profile. Today, guys, we're going over a few cards that are new. The World Tournament just released about a week ago, and with that comes new cards such as leaders, and that's why I've chosen the Announcer. So from that alone, you know this deck's going to be a pure, for the most part, World Tournament deck. I say most part because the Announcer has two permanent abilities. One permanent ability is that all World Tournament cards act as if they have no specific costs. So kind of like how Zeno was with the Universe cards, I have as many cards as I want. In this case, I actually have mainly 3 different colors I go with. That's why I call this deck the Tri-County World Tournament for kicks and giggles. Once again, this deck is a fun deck that I thought would be great to put together, and I think it's working out pretty nicely. All right, so his second permanent, though, is that I can include non-World Tournament cards as long as they're not battle cards. So in that case, if I want to add like Sensu Bean to it, I could, or Whis' Collision or Corrosion. I don't really like that card that much. So I'm not sure I can care about it. Blue's not my favorite. So let's get down to the nice parts. He has a once per turn ability. That once per turn ability is that when you play a World Tournament card, you can actually turn around and draw another card from your deck. That is nice. No longer have to worry about attacking your opponent to knock their life down. You can play the little fun poke game and wait as long as you want with this deck. And that's why I love it. But if you have to awaken yourself, you get to put 2 of your energy cards back into an active position. And once you do that, he just missiles on out and becomes the Announcer, Referee, Veteran. Now, he has the same permanent where all World Tournaments have no specific cost, but the other parts to him is that now when you attack with this card, because once you awaken, your life is at least 4. It's getting to that point when you got to start playing that aggression game a little bit harder. So when you attack with him, you get to draw 1 card. You lose the ability to draw a card on playing a World Tournament, which is fine, because now you're trying to be more aggressive. Now, he does have an activate main ability. Now, a lot of people don't really like this ability because it's kind of like a one and done. But when you activate this ability, you choose up to 2 of your battle cards with World Tournament as part of their tagline, and they each gain 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. And then once you use this ability, it's gone. It's over with. Why would I do that? It makes no sense whatsoever unless you're playing these cards. This is the World Tournament Arena card. What this card does is amazing. And the fact that this card is a field card is even better. Why is that so much better? Is because field cards are nearly impossible to get rid of. And by saying that, there's only 2 cards in the entire list of cards that I can actually be told of remove field cards. So you're not losing this card ever. I do play 3 of them, just kind of get a better pull from them. And if for some reason my opponent has that ability to get rid of a field card, I still have extras. And if they don't, I have extra energy cards to play. But what this card does is so amazing is that he does exactly what the Awakened State of the Announcer does. So I switch this card to Rest. If my leader is an Announcer, which he is, I choose up to 2 of my battle cards with the World Tournament's taglines, and they each gain 5,000 power boosts for the duration of the turn. Right then and there, turn 1, guys. I now have the ability that my Announcer normally gives me without having to awaken. And that's why, like I said earlier, I kind of play the long game of this deck. I like to relax and take my time. And I do that because I'm able to control my opponent in a sense. And we'll get to that in a second, what I mean by that. But this next 8 cards, I play 4 of each. I hate them and I love them. I hate them because they're so much alike. But the first one is the Announcer, Ever Curious. Nice art, right? His hands up in the air. But his ability is, when I play this card, and of course he's a battle card, so he goes straight to the field. But when I play this card, if your leader is a World Tournament, then I can look up to 7 cards from the top of my deck and choose up to 1 World Tournament among them, and then add it to my hand and then shuffle my deck. Right then and there goes well with this deck already because this entire deck is a World Tournament deck. Now, I point out the art for a reason because the second card is Announcer Play-by-Play Pro. He has a mustache and his hands down. Yes, I've misplayed this card before. Just got to pay attention a little bit better before you play your cards in this situation, guys. But what makes the play-by-play pro so nice is that he's a negate card. For one, kind of similar to what Master Roshi used to be, or is in this sense. So I play one card, play this card to the field, and it negates my opponent's attack. There. But wait, he has another ability. If I didn't want to use it as a negate card, I can play this card straight to the field. And by doing that, if I have 2 or more World Tournaments other than this card in play, or in my battle area to be exact, so I have 2 other battle cards, then I can just draw 2 cards. So if I'm kind of in a situation where, you know what, I'm doing a good push, I know my opponent can't do much to me, I'm going to play this card on the field, get 2 extra cards out. And let's say this was turn 3 I did this. So I play him, I get my draw from the leader, I get his 2 cards from him, that's 3 cards I just drew. If I happen to have 4 life and I wanted to activate after that, then boom, my leader's now into his attack position. I can attack my leader and get 4 cards drawn in that one turn alone for paying 1 energy. That's not bad. But those were the 3 only black cards actually launched in this series. And to tell you the truth, that is all I need for this deck to work. This deck, like I said, was made for fun, and it is so much fun. But I have another negate card in case I want to, like I said, use some of those for the draw effects. And this other negate card is the Heroic Duo Videl. Once again, she works just like how Master Roshi does, where it's a pay 1, play it to the field, negate my opponent's attack, and then I'm done. I can use her for a combo later if I need to. Now, she does have another effect, which is a permanent. I don't get the benefit of that because I don't play the Heroic Duo Son Gohan. But if you happen to have those 2 in your deck, she gets a boost of 9,000 to her power, which is pretty nice for a drop. Now, earlier I mentioned I kind of play the control my opponent's field and control his hand in a sense. And I do that with Trading Blows Son Goku. What he does is that he's a 1 cost. When he comes to the field, as long as my leader is a World Tournament type, and my opponent has 5 or more cards in their hands, they have to discard 1 of those cards and put it to the drop area. Now, the great thing about this, if I can play this for turn 1, then my opponent's hand goes down, and they have 1 less card to start the game off with, which could, benefit you in the long run. And I have 4 of these cards, which means if I happen to not pull any of them until towards the end of the game, then you can just start playing these cards to get your opponent to just make their hand smaller and smaller and smaller, so when you do your final push, they got nothing to back up with, which is amazing. And if that was it, that would be awesome. But no, I also play 4 of the Hone Moved Yamchas. Now, they are 3 costs. They do have crit, so that's pretty good so far. But their secondary effect is the only card in my deck which actually picks up my own life. But if I choose to take 1 life and add it to my hand, then my opponent must then discard 1 card from their hand and place it into the drop area. So it's another way of controlling my opponent's hand, making sure they don't have every card they need. And so far right there, that's about 8 cards I have in this deck that control my opponent's hand. I think that's actually all the cards in this deck that actually does that. So, now the next 4 cards I'm going to show you guys is for fun purposes. Because I do play the announcer, I had to do this. I play 1 of each of the basic supers. The Future Martial Arts Son Goku, the Vegeta Power Misuse, the Martial Daughter Chi-Chi, and the top of his game, Son Gohan. And the reason why I do that is because, once again, my leader allows me to play any cards with no specific cost, and technically when you play a combo, they don't really cost anything. But they're all 10,000 pluses. Get to draw 1 card as long as you have 5 or less life. So, I just thought this would be a nice little amusement. So those are your basic supers. Now let's get to the main parts of this deck. Well, this whole deck's actually really good. But the next 6 cards are one of those combo cards where the pictures go together, which is pretty sweet. So we're going to start with the first one. Scruffle Time Mr. Boo. He's a 1 cost for 5,000 who has Barrier. His ability, though, is that activate main and place this card at the bottom of your owner's deck. If the Scruffle Time Son Gohan, Son Goten, is in play in your battle area, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and return it to their hand. So that's another way of controlling my opponent's field now. And there is the Sun Goten card as well, which he is a 2-cost. So if I could play Boo first, which the idea, he has barrier, so he should be safe out there for a while. But what Goten's ability is that once per turn, I choose one card from my life and add it to my hand. So yeah, sorry, I stand correct. I have 2 ways of actually hurting my life. But his ability is worth it in this case. So I choose 1 life and add it to my hand. If Mr. Boo is in play in the battle area, I choose this card and up to 1 of my energies and set them to active mode. And then this card gains 10,000 power boost for the duration of the turn. So the goal in this case would be to play Goten, attack with Goten, take a life, use Boo to return a card to my opponent's hand, and attack with Goten again. That's 1 less card potentially for my opponent could combo with. Just trying to play that field so my opponent has less cards out at a time. So the next card is Awkward Situation Trunks. Now, just want to show you guys, kind of keep this a thing real quick, how the pictures match. Beautiful. Love the art. All right. But now we'll go back to Awkward Situation Trunks. Now his ability is that I can choose 1 Awkward Situation Otokosuki in your battle area and place it in the bottom of your owner's deck. If the leader, as long as your leader is World Tournament, you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So just like the Mr. Boo I had, it's another way of controlling my opponent's field, get rid of cards away from their field so they have nothing to attack with, they have nothing to combo with. But wait, what if he's not on the field? Well, the great thing about Awkward Situation Otokosuki is that if you have Trunks on the field, you can play this to the battle area. You can play this to the battle area from your hand without paying its energy cost. So that's a 4 energy cost to the field, 1,500 attack, 15,000 attack power. So your strategy there is to bring Trunks out, bring out him, attack with him, use Trunks' ability to get rid of a card, then attack with Trunks. Another way, like I said, controlling my opponent's field and making sure they don't have things they need to attack with or combo with. Now, beforehand, I had 6 different cards. I had some Gotens, some Trunks that kind of did some double strike and crit, but I took those out because I instead added the Test of Strength Son Goku to my deck. Now, his interesting ability is that he is a 3-cost. Now, when you play this card, if your leader, as long as he's a World Tournament, you may choose up to 1 Test of Strength Oob from your hand and play it to the field. And if you do so, both the cards gain 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So that's another card I could play from my hand, put it straight to the field, no cost. So now playing 1 card that costs me 3 gives me 2 cards of attack powers of 20,000 for this turn. If that was it, that would be amazing, but it isn't, because Goku also has double strike. Now I have Oob out in the field who has critical, but Oob has another effect. When he is played to the field, as long as Test of Strength Son Goku is on the field, I can then choose 2 of my opponent's battle cards as long as they have 20,000 or less attack power, and KO them, right? Yeah, no, put them at the bottom of their opponent's deck. So, boom, 2 cards that cost a 3. I get on the field, my opponent loses 2 cards, and I go and attack again. Just like another way of just controlling my opponent's field as best as possible. All right. So, the next set, guys, is interest set. It's actually my 5-cost cards. So, I have Supreme Showdown Vegeta, who, by the way, has triple strike. And if I happen to have Supreme Showdown Son Goku, which you know is in this deck, they both gain, this card gains 10,000 power. But his ability is that when you play this card, if your leader is World Tournament, you may choose up to 1 of your battle cards other than this card and place it to your drop area. If you do so, your opponent cannot activate blockers for the duration of this turn. That is amazing, but not just because of that ability, but because of Supreme Showdown Son Goku's ability. He also has triple strike, and he has the same permanent as Vegeta, so he gains 10,000 power. But his ability is that when your battle card is placed in your drop area with the Supreme Showdown Vegeta skill, in your leader's world tournament, you can activate this skill. If there are no Supreme Showdown Son Gokus in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand. So another card where I paid 5 for, but now I get 2 for. They're both 35,000 for the turn. No, permanently, as long as they're both together on the field with triple strike. There's my final push. All that work of removing my opponent's hands, removing his cards from the field. Now he can't use blockers for this final strike. But that's not it, guys. I do have one more card. I wasn't going to add this card originally, but Fluff made a good point. When I first tested this deck out, it is the slow game. I'm not trying to hurt my opponent. I'm trying to pick at them. And as I'm doing that, I'm getting energy. My opponent's getting energy. So this card costs normally 8. Yes, it's a secret rare. So he costs 8 normally, and he has double strike and dual attack, and he has an ultimate, so that's why I only have one in my deck. But his ability is if your leader card is a world tournament, and there are 6 cards or more in both your energy areas and your opponent's area, so long as we both have 6 energy, this card reduces by 2 costs. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 card each from your opponent's life, energy area, and place them to the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. So even if I get this card out and I choose to attack with him, his auto is triggered. If my opponent has 1 life left, that's game. Because even if you were to negate the attack, the auto still goes off. That's beautiful. And he is 40,000. Haven't had a chance to use it to get him out yet. Because like I said, this is actually just now putting him in the deck. So I will be doing a duel with one of our decks. So hopefully I get that card out. If I don't, we'll keep on pushing until I get it out. I do have a crit version of this deck where I substitute, I think, about 18 or 24 of my cards out of this deck and put 24 different ones in. And it's from that point on to straight. Every card is critical. It's just picking my opponent's life. It's not the slow game. It's more of the aggressive and continually attacking. And I'll also do a deck profile of that next week, guys. But until then, thanks, guys, for watching. We hope you enjoy our content. If you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications when we do more deck profiles. And as always, George Clinton, if you're watching, we love having the show. I almost said Clooney again, but I didn't. Bye, guys.